Listen up, everyone. I got something super special for all of you guys today. If you thought the banana zone was big, just wait until you hear about what we're going to be talking about in today's video. I think all of you guys are probably familiar with this point in time with Raoul's banana zone. I mean, this thing took the internet by storm. It got people very excited. A lot of people like to criticize this banana chart, but nonetheless, overall, it does tell a pretty compelling story. But what I'm going to show you and what Raoul is going to talk about in today's video is probably even more compelling than that. So I need you guys to absolutely obliterate that like button so everyone in crypto sees this, and let's get into the video. I look at this as, I mean, this is a killer. It's an absolutely beautiful chart. It's the GMI Global Weekly Liquidity. So that's both private sector liquidity and public sector liquidity from the large global economies. I mean, it's just perfect. It leads by 10 weeks. M2 does pretty much a pretty similar job as well. So you've got that. You've got Bitcoin seasonality is always strong from this point onwards. And Bitcoin is also repeating what it did last year. I mean, literally perfectly. So we've got the macro overlay. The Fed are going to keep cutting over time. The other central banks are going to be involved. We've got the seasonality in place. We've got the global liquidity cycle in place. I don't know what else is left. It's kind of like it has to be now. Even the chart patterns, usually you get 3 touches at the top, 3 touches at the bottom of a range that usually works. So I think all of the elements are in play. I think either way, whatever the outcome of the election, it goes up afterwards anyway. We've seen that in the past. But we saw the last time Trump was in, obviously because Trump is very tax-light, very stimulative, and he's very pro-crypto. So regulatory stuff, both for tech and for crypto, you feel like that could be an extra juice if that were to happen. And 201617 was the last Trump cycle. We didn't have the Fed actually easing liquidity massively. They were just starting to raise rates, and they stopped for 201617. And it was the Chinese who were creating the liquidity, and the market went bananas tastic in 2017. Let me give you a hopium chart. I just need to share it. It's an ETH hopium chart. That's ETH versus ETH last year. I can't find a closer fit. I can't. That's crazy. The other thing about the ETH Bitcoin cross is it's driven by the ISM and the business cycle. So you're kind of all in that point on a weekly. For those who like technicals, on a weekly DeMark count, ETH just put in a 13 low as well. It feels that everything is in place, but that chart is quite remarkable. Now, we know that these charts fall apart just when you want them the most to work. So expect it to not work, but it's just interesting contextually. I've got a very strong thesis on this, that as the market cap of crypto goes up over time from 2 trillion to where I think it's going, which is 100 trillion, you're going to generate more wealth than any other trade in all human history in the shortest period of time. And that gets recycled into art. And I started buying XCOPY really in January, and have been buying all year. That triggered a whole bunch of people. And I've shared the thesis a lot with people that the really culturally relevant things will be highly sought after first. But I think it will broaden out again. It doesn't go away. And so we've seen pumps, XCOPY, and there's very little people for sale at all. So those are there. Yes, Fidenzas have come down in price, and yes, some of the others have come down in price, but I think we will see a rotation. It's kind of like if you think of XCOPY and people and punks as Bitcoin, you get Bitcoin dominance first. As the market broadens out, it moves to the other layer 1s, layer 2s, and other stuff, and I think we'll see the same here. I think we will see a big uptick in art as we start going through all-time highs, not only in Bitcoin, but in the other big one, which is Solana, because that's what people have got a lot of. We surveyed all of our hedge funds in exponential adjacent management and expand. The biggest trader is still on it. So yes, the banana zone is definitely underway. And one thing I do want to mention is no, not every single time are the charts going to be exactly to the T, exactly when it's going to happen, but they generally do look pretty similar, right? And overall, I do think that we can expect some pretty positive price momentum in the next couple of months. But one thing I know for certain is in the short term, it's not going to be like that. In the everything right now, the day-by-day stochastic RSI chart is overbought. And so for that reason, I'm shorting Ethereum. I'm shorting XRP, I'm shorting Bitcoin, and guys, if you sign up to Margex, use my link and trade alongside me, you can make a lot of money with me, and for signing up to Margex, you'll also get some massive trading bonuses, so make sure that you should sign up using my link, because you're going to get XRP, just for trading XRP, Bitcoin, or whatever other crypto. Now, that being said, Raoul does have some more really important information to share with us, so let's get back to the video. Foundation. But I have, I'm a mercenary when it comes to my own money, and I have for a while been thinking, we all three of us have talked about this, is that this might be one of the chosen ones. And the reason being is that the team is world-class. They built, a scale of blockchain suitable for 3 billion people plus. I mean, these guys are world-class. They're a little bit technical. So the narrative was missing, but then started to come alive with narrative. But the reality is they've got the latency of the chain down to 600 milliseconds. It's stupid fast. They've now just building this walrus, which is data storage layer, which is a separate token, but it's like basically ores on top of this whole move virtual machine idea. Then they've got Pilotfish coming, which is their version, kind of a fire dancer, which gives it kind of unlimited TPS. And they've got a very serious biz dev team. Obviously, we've just got Circle, and there'll be, I'm sure, plenty of others, whether it's in gaming or real world assets and other stuff to come. So they're just capturing mindshare. Now, don't forget, this is a low free float. And once you capture mindshare in a low free float, it outperforms by definition because there's less of it around. You can have the same mindshare for ETH. It's not going to go. It's barely going to move. So I know people hate low free floats. You're going to love them in a bull market and hate them again in a bear market because they're just super beta. So I think that's the point to realize. It's also super beta capturing mindshare. They seem to be executing well, and people are looking for the next big trade because, as Ovi was talking about, people are kind of like, well, is the Solana trade over? What's the next big one? And so it feels like it's got everything right. I don't see what else is going to dominate. I look at the charts of SUI versus the top 20 tokens and a whole bunch of other stuff. I don't see anything. That looks close to being able to compete with it for the time being. The only things coming monad and bearer chain doesn't mean that Celestia and all this stuff doesn't go up a lot, but it's very difficult to see anything that's going to outperform that chart. The other one that's interesting, I just interviewed John Wu from Avalanche, and I caught up with his kicks in Portugal when I was there. And I don't know if you met Pierce yet, Mando. You've got to meet him. He's such a great guy, good friend of mine, and he's the gaming guy at Delphi, and he talked about the investment he's made in Off the Grid. He's like, it is the best game I've ever seen in Web3, and it may be one of the best games I've ever played. That's on Avalanche. And I got John on because of what Pierce said to talk about it. That's going to be really interesting because we've not had a proper breakout. This is a battle royale game, ultra high definition, super quality. If this takes off, okay, that's a big deal. It's not really about token price for me and that. It's like, can you actually use this stuff for loyalty, logistics, deep in, and all of the things that are being talked about? But in the markets, no, I'm super concentrated. You know, it's the Solana, SUI, and even my memes are all down to 1 or 2, which is Doge and smoking chicken fish. So I'm hyper concentrated, and then NFTs is my long-term savings bucket. You know, there's stuff I want to have for 10 years, and that's it. I'm trying to keep out of trouble. I think it's a really important thing is, if you think you've got decently strong narratives, just don't fuck around with it. Because before you know it, you chop yourself up to death by trying to catch something. Listen, we're all out here just trying to make as much money as we possibly can. So I respect what Power has to say here. I say, if you guys are one of the people that want to make as much as you can, you absolutely need to join my Discord and sign up to Margex's link down below. That is an absolute must. This bear market, I have done my research the past 3 cycles and I have it down. I know I'm going to make a lot of money. That's up to you guys whether or not you want to make a lot of money with me. So let's do this thing. Smash that like button, comment, subscribe so everyone sees this video. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.